Last night, you built an entire world. You stood somewhere specific. You spoke to someone. You moved through a place that felt familiar but was bent slightly out of shape, and things happened inside it that made complete sense while they were happening. It lasted around 2 hours, and by the time you were standing at the sink this morning, almost all of it was gone. Not fading slowly. The way a name slips when you walk into the next room to look it up. Gone. A shape, maybe. A mood. Possibly nothing at all. This happens to you every single night, and the easy explanation is that it simply doesn't matter. Your brain takes out the trash. Dreams are leftover noise, temporary files, nothing worth keeping. That's the comfortable answer. It's also wrong. Start with the scale of the erasure. Researchers estimate that around 95% of every dream you have is gone within 5 minutes of waking. Your brain spent hours constructing something detailed enough to feel completely real, then deleted it before you had any chance to look. And here's the part that unsettles people most. Even those who swear flatly that they never dream are woken in sleep laboratories and describe vivid, emotional experiences they had no memory of moments later. You dream whether you keep it or not. The forgetting isn't the accident of a few bad nights. It's the rule. To understand why, you have to look at what sleep is doing to your memory in the first place. Deep inside your brain sits the hippocampus, a small curved structure that works like the night shift clerk of your memory. During the day, it tags your experiences and stamps them for storage. During deep sleep, it replays them and files them into long-term memory. This is why one wrecked night can erase a full day of learning, and why staying up to cram before an exam quietly works against you. Sleep isn't an off switch. It's when your brain decides what you keep. But REM sleep, the stage where nearly all of your vivid dreaming happens, plays by completely different rules. REM, rapid eye movement, was only discovered in 1953 by two researchers named Eugene Aserinsky and Nathaniel Kleitman. Before then, sleep was just sleep, a blank. And during that stage, your brain lights up. The regions that handle vision, emotion, and movement all fire at once. By every instrument we can point at your skull, something real and intense is happening in there. And almost none of it survives until morning. But this is where it stops being a memory problem and becomes something else. The reason dreams vanish isn't a flaw at all. It's wired into the very chemistry that builds them. While you dream, your brain shuts down a chemical called norepinephrine almost completely. Norepinephrine is one of the main signals that tells the hippocampus, "This matters, file it." It's tied to alertness, focus, and the act of writing a memory down. When it goes quiet, the recording machine effectively powers off. At the very same moment, your brain floods with a different chemical, acetylcholine, which cranks up vivid internal imagery and loosens the grip of logic. That flood is exactly why dreams feel the way they do. Faces melt into other faces. A room becomes a different room and nobody objects. Impossible things feel ordinary. And you accept all of it without a single question. So picture it. The exact chemistry that paints the dream is the same chemistry that disables the part of you that would remember it. You're handed a film and a camera with the lens cap glued shut. There's another layer too. During those vivid stretches, your body goes almost completely limp. Your brain releases two inhibitory chemicals, glycine and one called GABA, that block its own commands from reaching your muscles. It's a safety lock. Without it, you'd physically act out everything you dream, which is exactly what happens to people with a rare disorder where that lock fails. You've felt the tail end of it yourself if you've ever woken unable to move for a few seconds. That's the lock letting go a beat too slowly. If the forgetting is baked in this deep, why do some people wake with whole dreams intact while others get nothing? The obvious guess was that some people simply dream more. That guess turned out to be wrong. In 2017, a team led by the neuroscientist Raphael Vallat studied two groups, people who remembered their dreams almost every morning and people who almost never did. Both groups dreamed the same amount, same number of cycles, same duration. The difference was in what happened at the precise instant of waking. The strong recallers showed far more activity in a region called the temporoparietal junction, the part of the brain that turns its attention inward. They also woke briefly more often through the night, just seconds at a time, but enough to catch the trailing edge of a dream before the window slammed shut. That changes the whole picture. Remembering a dream isn't really a memory task at all. It's a timing task. The dream is a signal already dissolving, and unless a sliver of waking attention lands on it in the right second, it's gone. The people who seem to have a superpower for recall mostly just sleep more lightly than you do. It also explains a small mystery you've probably noticed. When you do hold on to something, it's almost always the last dream of the night. Toward morning, you spend far more time in REM, so the dream you keep is simply the one that happened to be playing when the lights came back on. Everything before it was already gone, and that points to a bigger idea about what REM might be for. In 2011, the neuroscientist Giulio Tononi proposed that every waking hour piles new connections onto your brain until, by nightfall, the whole system is overcrowded and running hot. REM, he argued, is the controlled clear-out that weakens those connections and resets you for the next day. In that view, your dreams aren't filed anywhere. They get swept out with everything else the brain is throwing away. Which forces a harder question than the one we started with. Not why we forget dreams. Why we have them at all. Think about the last nightmare you can actually recall. The odds are good that you were being chased, or cornered, or stuck somewhere you couldn't escape. There is a reason that feels so familiar. The Finnish researcher Antti Revonsuo went hunting for the pattern and found it almost everywhere he looked. Dream content leans dark. Roughly 75% of the dreams recorded in labs and journals carry that exact charge: fear, threat, loss, pursuit. To him, that lopsidedness wasn't a quirk, it was the whole purpose. He argued that dreaming is an ancient rehearsal system. Every night, while your body lies safely locked in place, your brain quietly stages the worst things that could happen to you and makes you live through them. A shape in the dark, a fall with no bottom, a familiar face turning hostile. You practice surviving again and again for dangers you may never meet, and then you're built to forget the drill by the time the kettle boils. Maybe. Other researchers stare at the same nights and see something gentler, dreams as the brain's emotional paperwork, threading the loose, unfinished feelings of the day into older memories, untangling in the dark what you couldn't sort out in the light. And then there's the bluntest theory of all, that none of it means anything, that a brain too complex to fully switch off simply idles through the night, throwing sparks, and you happen to be sitting in the theater while it does. So, which is it? A survival simulator, an overnight repair shop, or static from a machine that can't power all the way down? Nobody can tell you yet. The mechanisms are pinned down to the chemical. The reason is still wide open, and that gap is what makes the forgetting so hard to make peace with. If those hours are rehearsal, you drill every night and shred the notes before you can read them. If they're repair, the most delicate work your mind does is sealed behind a door you're never allowed through. And if they're nothing, then a third of your life is spent producing something vivid and complete, for no reason your own brain has ever been able to name. Here's what I keep circling back to. You are the author of a story every night of your life, fully cast, fully felt, hours long, written entirely in your own hand, and you are the one person who never gets to read it. It's finished and locked in the same instant, and tomorrow you'll write another one you'll never see either. And it's already scheduled. In a few hours, your eyes will flicker behind closed lids, the chemistry will quietly switch over, and you'll step into a world assembled just for you and taken apart before you wake. You won't resist it. You never do. Maybe that's the oldest deal your brain ever made with you. It gets to keep building these worlds, night after night, as long as you agree to lose every last one of them by morning. Thousands of stories, all of them yours, all of them gone. And tonight, there will be one more.